I think a lot of golfers overestimate what it takes to play off a single-digit handicap. It's not as pretty as you may think. The Blues here at Langdon Farms play to a modest 6,200 yards, and at this length, accuracy is more important than distance off the tee. And you'll see that most of my drives aren't pretty, but virtually always in play.
We are stiff into wind here, so I have 134 playing 136. I'm gonna hit a 155 club.
And the heavy wind today only compounds my distance disadvantage relative to many golfers. I'm taking 2 extra clubs on this approach shot, and I still come up short.
Wasn't particularly well struck.
But this is the area where I'm often able to claw strokes back. I'll opt for a bump and run with my gap wedge here, and it's close enough that I'll escape this opening hole with a par.
Thanks. Still stiff into a breeze, at least a 1 club.
It's more of the same on the second. A short dog leg left.
Leaking right.
My tee shot leaks a bit right, and once again, I'm grabbing 2 extra clubs into this well-protected green. This strike is a whole lot better than my last approach,
I think that got there.
and leaves me about 30 feet for birdie. And while the single biggest key to my single-digit handicap game is a tidy short game, the reality is that I don't have it every single day with the flat stick.
A little more. Little meat there.
My first leg of the day is a bit short, and sadly I can't convert the second one here.
Oh no.
So I'll have to settle for a 3-putt bogey here on 2.
So 177 here, playing 168 slope, but we're into wind still.
But one part of the game that's easy to be consistent on every day is level-headed course management.
Hit a little 5 hybrid.
I'm still thinking through each approach shot, and once again, I've chosen the right stick here on 3.
Be the number.
It leaves another lag up the hill, and evidently I still haven't dialed in the speed of the greens just yet.
Okay.
I'll have another tester for par,
Oh, 2 in a row, Adam.
and once again, I fail to convert. So single-digit handicap golf? Yeah, it doesn't always look pretty.
Still straight into wind.
But like I said, a key to harnessing single-digit handicap golf is having a strong mental game. I've put the last 2 holes in the rearview mirror, standing over the ball on this short par 4. And another drive in play leaves just a flip wedge in.
Thanks.
This one's right at the target, and for the 3rd straight hole, I'll have a testy 4-footer. But this time, I'm able to get it to go,
Thanks.
and I move back to 1 over par. It's a good strike here on the tee of 5, but missing fairways can be penal on this course, and you'll see the lie I'm dealt here from the right rough.
133. Got the ball quite a bit above my feet. Gonna be aimed at the left edge of the trap. Ooh. Chunked it coming out of the rough.
From just short of the green, I'll opt for another bump and run,
Ooh, just kept going.
which ultimately winds up about 6 feet past the hole.
Going left edge.
I'm committed to my line here, and after a rough start with the putter,
There we go.
it feels good to knock this one home.
130. Back pin. Feels like a smooth 9 iron.
This is a costly miss on this short par 3.
Ooh, that was such a poor strike. Ah!
I'm in a tough swale beneath the green here, and I have to ensure I get it up and onto this green,
Just didn't want to leave that short.
even if it means missing past the hole. I'm left with a downhill slider here, and once again, my pace is off.
Ooh! Never good when you have to reposition the camera after a putt. Okay, time to grind.
But fortunately, I'm getting tidier with these ones inside 6 feet, and I'm able to limit the damage to a bogey. Onto the tee of the only par 5 on the front, and after a decent strike here, let's pause.
So if you watch the channel for long, you know that this is probably the best weapon in my bag. It's not long, but it's usually in play. And before working with an instructor, I used to have a common miss, which was a snap left. A lot of us have a common miss with our driver or with other clubs in our bag. What I don't want you to do if you have a common miss is go down the rabbit hole of YouTube watching every instructional video you can. The best instruction is tailored to your golf swing, and usually it's a bite-sized piece of information that can really help you fix a miss. So the sponsor of today's video is Swing Tweaks. What Swing Tweaks allows you to do is film a swing the way I just did right now, submit it in the app, and within hours, you'll have a PGA pro giving you feedback, not about generic swing advice, but specific to your swing. The best part of it, relative to taking the time and cost of an in-person lesson, you get that lesson on Swing Tweaks for about the price of a glove. If you use the code on screen, you'll get 20% off of that. Stop wasting time, stop not improving your game, use Swing Tweaks, and start leveling up your game. Okay, so 255 to the stick, which I don't have. There's a creek out there that's like 160, 170 to carry. Now, in theory, I'm going to carry that most of the time with a 3-wood, but I'm never getting there, so why bring it into play? We're going to hit it 150 and then have wedge in.
It's a good plan on this shot, but as for execution,
Or we're going to hit it 103 yards and then have 160.
The poor execution continues here,
Adam.
but this time we get a generous bounce from the golf gods.
Oh, off the rock.
Onto another bump and run, and the distance control is good, but...
Oh, it never turned.
And again, even with this typically being the best part of my game, I'll miss my share of them too.
Oh, turn left. Okay. Aiming at the barn.
It's the first long par 4 of the day, fortunately downwind, but it's also my first straight tee shot of the day,
Or 100 yards right of the barn.
leaving me in a tricky spot. I'm forced to play away from the pin here with a tree on my line. With the pin tucked on the right side of the green, the goal is to hit it pin high left and leave myself plenty of green to work with to try to get up and down. And I'll lean into the one part of the game I've done well consistently thus far today. It's another good one here that rides a ridge and releases towards the hole.
Thanks.
And the Jekyll and Hyde game continues with the putter.
Thanks.
50% of the time today, they've gone in every time. And after all the highs and lows on this front nine, we're taking a 3-over score into 9. This is a 10-bell strike for me, and into this stiff breeze, it gets out there only about 240.
Got 133 into. My 8-iron's a 140 club, and it might not get there in this wind, but it looks like short is below the hole, so that's okay.
And another good strike here over the approach, but as anticipated, it doesn't quite get there into this wind.
Yeah, little short.
And as handicap golfers, we're going to miss greens and face a ton of little chips and pitches like this. So a brief word about them.
So I see a lot of people get to positions like this, and they just by default grab a 58 or 60. There's no reason you need that. I'm hitting a gap wedge and just bumping it, and the margin for error, even if I hit this a bit, it's like just get it rolling.
I'm sure to accelerate through it, and once again, I'll have a makeable par putt.
Like that.
And after this one, our conversion rate from this distance gets another bump today. I counted 10 poor shots on the front nine, but with only one drive out of position and some solid scrambling, I'm thrilled with the 3-over 38 heading into the back. 10 turns into a bit of a microcosm of my round. It's another great strike off the tee,
That was good.
followed by level-headed thinking over my approach.
Okay, so there's a pretty big cross breeze here, 115. There's so much room behind the pin that I'm actually going to take a 130 club. Feet a little closer together.
This turns out to be the right plan, and onto my birdie putt. But sadly, the up and down game with the putter continues. This first one is rammed by. And as for the comebacker,
Of the greens I've hit today, I've 3-putted almost all of them.
one more good strike on the tee of 11. My best of the day thus far, and on to planning this second shot.
So 315, pins in the middle of the tall tree cluster. Oh,
It's not my best, but luckily, I'll still leave myself a wedge in. With the tucked pin in the ball below my feet, I'm happy with this approach, leaving me a long lag for birdie. And I wish I could say that I finally dialed in the speeds on these lag putts, but as mentioned, even the best parts of our game are prone to failing us from time to time. What's important is that I don't dwell on it, and treat every putt in isolation, without regard for the one that came before it. And this time, I am able to clean up the par putt.
finally.
It's just more of the same here on 12. A great drive in play, followed by sound thinking over the approach shot.
We are downwind, but everything short is a nasty bunker. Okay, 163. Smooth 6-iron, aimed left of that pin.
And after quite a few mediocre strikes with irons today, this is finally a solid one, hit right on my target line.
Should be good.
And on to this. It feels more like a mini golf putt than one you'd usually face on a golf course. And it's not altogether a bad effort, although it will leave me some work. And man, I'm getting a bit tired of this today.
5 3-putts today. 4. Okay, so 153. So scary to aim at the water and trust the wind.
And this is a nervy one. It's playing into and across, so I'm grabbing extra club and taking on a pretty scary line left of the pin.
Thanks.
Fortunately, it's another good strike, leading to our 8th green in regulation through 13 holes. And after a brutal start with the flat stick thus far on the back nine,
Thank you.
it's a relief to at least get this one close and tidy up for par. And wouldn't you know it, another solid drive here on 14. Keeping them in play off the tee has allowed us to mitigate big numbers on the card thus far, but not after this shot.
No, shanked it.
Indeed, a key to single-digit handicap golf that I haven't mentioned today is that putting up scores is far more about limiting the big numbers than it is about making fistfuls of birdies. But even then, doubles will creep onto the card from time to time. From a rough lie, I hit another stinker. And by compounding bad shots on this hole, suddenly I'm trying to scramble not for par, but for bogey. And this one leaves me with 12 or 14 feet, where I can't quite get it to go. And it all adds up to our first double square on the card today. But we'll put it behind us on this short par 4, where a good drive leaves just a wedge in. I pushed this one a bit, but for the second time today, it's a good break from the golf gods.
Oh, great bounce.
And the result is an uphill birdie putt. And right away I don't like it. But at least it gets to the hole, and we'll escape with a par. And just to emphasize the importance of a solid tee game, this is only really my second drive offline today.
Kick a little left.
But like I mentioned, missing fairways on this course often leads to side hill lies from the rough like this one. And just like the last time I faced this shot, I catch it a bit chunky and miss short and left of my target. And next is just another poor shot with the flat stick from the fringe.
Adam!
I leave it a full 12 feet short, and I follow it up with another one I immediately know isn't online.
Okay.
And sadly, the par train was short-lived. It's a bogey here on 16. Next is a long par 3, but at long last, it's finally one playing a bit downwind. I'll commit to the 190 club here and aim at the middle of the green. And even though it's a bit of a push, it does prove to be the right stick, and misses pin high right. This time I'll opt for another bump and run in lieu of the flat stick. My distance control with these has been far better than it has with the putter throughout the round, and this one's no exception. My playing partners generously give me this one, after watching me struggle from this range today.
For the channel.
But just for you, I'll ensure to knock it in. On to 18, where I'm able to hit one final great drive today.
That was good. Okay, so it's a back flag, and I'm 255 out from it. 190 to the bunkers on the left. I could even hit a 200 club at the bunkers, because it's not going to get there, but just to take all the fear out of my mind, hitting a 190 club at the bunkers.
I chose the right club with a conservative target over this second shot. And even though I leak it quite a bit off my target line, fortunately it does manage to skirt the water.
That was not what I was trying to do.
But this, it's just one more example of the fact that single-digit handicap golf doesn't always look pretty. It leaves me with a long shot from a greenside bunker, and though I'm able to get it on, it leaves me a good 30 feet for par. I've been terrible from this range today, but at long last, I'm able to hit one that leaves me just a tap in. It all adds up to a 9 over 80 and a single-digit differential, which I'm content with given some of my mishaps on course today. Despite almost a bad shot per hole and way too many putts, solid play off the tee and level-headed course management throughout the day kept things in check. I hope you enjoyed following along and appreciate this demonstration that single-digit handicap golf doesn't always have to look the way many of us are led to believe it has to.